Hello, this is Bob Foster. This is a detailed video on the LPM Away function. Um, let's get into it. So now we click on LPM Away, and on the left-hand side of the screen it says what partitions do you want to move, or you could also move a complete server. So if I explode these up, I have two different HMCs managing these servers, so I'm using the remote HMC function to help move things between servers not managed by the same HMC. And that's set up automatically by the tool for a customer. If you add in HMCs and start doing partition mobility, it'll do the right exchange keys to get the mobility working. So in this case, I'm going to evacuate everything off of this server called Thorad. Now, if I didn't want to take everything off the server, maybe I didn't want to take off client 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, or whatever, I could unclick those. If you have partitions that are in the not active state or shut down, they're up in the list. You can exclude them or include them also. But in this case, I want everything, so I just click that button again, and it filled it all in. If I unclicked it, I could do individuals again like this and stuff like that. So, but once again, I'm going to want everything to go. Now, I'm going to move it to two different other servers. And sorry about the names, but the names are Jupiter 4 Delta FP1 and Jupiter 4 Bravo FP1. And it's just a little confusing because when we start looking at these, watching this stuff, it's hard to see the two different names, but you'll get a little bit used to it. So I want to spread those across those two servers. Those are only two servers. I have three servers in my cluster: Thorad, FP1, and then Jupiter 4 Delta and Jupiter 4 Bravo. Okay, so I'm going to do validate now. And there were 20 LPARs, and I'll go up here and say show me 20 or 30. The screen, of course, doesn't show that much because it's a smaller window. And you'll see that LPM Client 1 is on the Thorad FP1, and we're trying to validate over to hold on, I'm having a little bit of a problem with my recording here. There you go. And we're trying to validate to both 4 Bravo and 4 Delta because we chose two different targets to try to move partitions to. So in this case here, we have 20 partitions and two different destination servers we need to validate to. That means we have to do 40 validations. And it's running along here, and this failed one, if we go over and clicked on this, it says I can't move it from Thorad FP1 to this destination system because it doesn't support the 20-to-1 ratio for proc units to processors. But client 11 did actually successfully validate to the 4 Delta server. It just couldn't move to the 4 Bravo. So I just set up one LPAR that's got this 20-to-1 to show that, if you have an error on one trying to go to one destination, it still tries to go to the other destination, and then this LPM client 11 will be properly placed and put somewhere. And we're getting some other warnings and details. These come from the HMC, and unless it says error, it's not really going to be a problem, and we get these warnings up, but actually the RMC is working just fine. So this is just base HMC function that sometimes is popping up a spurious warning that's not really going to impact our LPM. So, okay, I'm going to put this on pause. It'll take a few more minutes for this to run, and I'm going to sort by validation state over here to see how many we have left to go. Going to pause. Still running here, almost done. Okay, so the validation did indeed complete, and as I said before, LPM Client 11 worked going to 4 Delta, but it didn't work going to 4 Bravo. So now that we validated, now we go to the next screen here, and we'll do the actual placement. So this screen's got a lot of features to it. So on the left, you see our clients and where they've ended up. Some are going to 4 Bravo, some are going to 4 Delta. And over here it shows that 4 Bravo has only 0.15 CPU remaining, and Jupiter 4D has a little bit more. And what we do is we have different placement policies, and one placement policy, which is our default, is packing. And in packing, we put all the LPARs we can on to the first server, and then we start putting them onto the second server, and then the third server, and the fourth server. And we pack our largest LPARs first when we try to do this, so we're trying to put them on there. And let's say, so in this case, we tried to fill up 4 Bravo first. Well, let's say that you don't want to fill up 4 Bravo first. You want to fill up 4 Delta first. So you can click on Order, move 4 Bravo Delta to 4 Bravo, hit Confirm, and it's been saved. And we hit this. And so now we filled up 4 Delta more, and it didn't quite all fit in there because we were pushing too much in there. And so we can go off and adjust it by going over here and saying put this over to 4 Bravo, maybe putting this over to 4 Bravo, and you know, you can do these types of games here and get it all to fit in there and stuff like that. But manually doing it, see this, I'm taking a big server and trying to put in 2 small servers, and I have not very much room at all in here. So I'm not really able to play a lot of different games with placement because they're both pretty full here. So I'll let the tool get me out of trouble here. I've changed some of them manually. I'll just go to striping. Now striping says try to get things placed to have the same amount of headroom as you can on both of them. It's a little, you know, non-deterministic exactly where everything's going to go, but striping is one way to go also. If you had 4 or 5 servers and one of them had 5 CPUs left, one of them had 1 CPU left, we try to fill up that 5 CPU left until we got closer to that the one, then we try to start striping. So it's not quite evenly across the servers. It's really, we try to fill up the servers. If one's pretty empty, we'll fill that up quite a bit before we sorry, the tool's having a little bit of a problem here. Oh gosh, okay. The tool's okay, the tool's back online. Recording, okay. So, but I'm going to go back to packing because I like packing better. I'm going to change my order back to 4 Bravo, but that seems to pack better. And so now everything's back in there. And so away we go. So that's one. So you can change your destination servers as you want to. Over here, this button that says Choose MSP has actually got 2 functions on it. We just haven't updated the tool yet when we're making this video. But you can actually choose what MSP pairs you want to use for your source and destination. And you make a selection and have that applied to all of the LPARs that are coming from that same source and then that same destination. And so if you have some high-speed connections, you can set it on one of these LPARs and then click Apply to All, and it would apply it to all of them. I don't actually have that, so I'm not going to click Apply. I'll just apply it to this one here. And then you can also go in here and choose what your pools are. If you want to actually move to a different pool here, I'm not going to do that as part of this demo, but you're able to do that with the tool and stuff like that. But I'm just trying to show you some of the highlights. Then over here, you can set your concurrent count to how many LPMs you want to go by at once. And then here, you also have, some people say, well, I want to move one thing first and another thing next and stuff like that. Well, on the GUI, we actually have the ability to sort them here and do it like this. An easier way to probably do this is going to be to use import and export plans that I'll show you later on in another video. So you can drag and drop. You can imagine if you had 200 LPARs, how tedious it would be if you wanted to order all 200 LPARs, okay? Like I said, we move the largest LPAR first, and then from there, you know, then we move the next largest, the next largest, next largest, et cetera, et cetera. And you can also import or export a plan, but I'm going to have another video on import and export. So now we'll go to next. So we got everything set across here. We go to next, and the LPM starts. and we said 8 concurrent. The concurrent number is decided on what's the lowest number of the different the different destinations. So your source might say 16, but your destinations might say 8, so we'll do 8. And so this is a lab setup, and we have all sorts of different concurrency models and firmware levels. So 8 was the highest common denominator among those 3 servers that we're using. But the tool will figure out what the highest common denominator and give it to you on that drop-down box. Okay, so it's going to start going here. I'm going to sort by LPM state here. So we'll get our running ones first here. I'm going to pause it because this is pretty boring to watch these things move. Okay. So it's still going on here. It's getting about done. So I'm going to hit it pause a little bit longer here. About finished here. Well, it's about my 4th time to make this recording, so I'm glad to see that this one's about done and everything's successful. So, almost here. Well, I hit the button a little bit too quick, and you guys didn't see the final result. So it's complete. Sorry about that. Okay, that's the now this is the DPO screen, but I'm going to have that in a different video. Okay, thanks for watching.